Hello everyone, this is Blade Bananas. Welcome to another video. In this video we're going to showcase a team that is very similar to the team we got Legend with. We have the same Mew and Empoleon core, which is a very strong core because they do cover each other's weaknesses very well, and Mew is just a very flexible Pokemon. But in this case we're bringing this team, this core, into Remix Cup where the top 10 Pokemon is not allowed. In this cup, including Azumarill, Galarian Stunfisk, Venusaur, Skarmory, right? So we decided to change it up, and now we're using a Vigroth in the back as a safe swap, and also now we're leading Mew with the double debuff charge moves of Wild Charge and Overheat. So this is a typical ABB team. You have two Pokemon in the back that are weak to fighters, so you want to aggressively swap a lot of times with your Vigroth in order to draw out a fighter that is weak to Mew, but also beats your back line, right? So once you draw that fighter out, you can finish it off with your Mew, perhaps farming it down so that your Empoleon doesn't have to see that Pokemon in the back. So it could be a Medicham or Deoxys that they go into when you swap into this Vigroth, so that your Empoleon doesn't have to see that DD or Medicham, right? So here we are against a Cresselia, and my opponent is not swapping out. This tells me that my opponent probably has something weak to my Mew in the back as well, because Mew does win this matchup very easily against Cresselia. So what I'm going to do is throw a Wild Charge to chip down my opponent Cresselia, and now I'm going to aggressively swap out into my Vigroth. Actually, I'm going to go into this. I'm going to throw this Overheat because it does a lot of damage. Vigroth doesn't have a great matchup against Cresselia, so I definitely need the chip. And now I should draw out the fighter that they're afraid of showing, which is a Defense Form Deoxys. Because they stayed in that matchup, the lead matchup, it does tell you they may have a pseudo fighter in the back that is a Psychic type. Could be a Medicham, could be a Defense Form Deoxys, because they're both very weak to a Mew, right? So what I'm going to do here is just chip it down with the Body Slam. I know I'm going to lose this matchup against Deoxys because they do have counters and they resist my counter, right? But what I can do is farm down with my own Mew here. I have to shield once, but I'm going to come out of this matchup with a lot of energy with against whatever they have in the back. They actually aggressively swap into a A-Ninetales. That means I can just safely swap into my Empoleon here. And just farm a lot of energy. Just kind of farm down a ton of energy here. Just farming extra. I'm gonna throw just when they get to the next Weather Ball here. My opponent is very low with the defense from Deoxys, I believe. So I actually throw my energy here because if I know that if I don't throw here, he's going to counter me down before I waterfall the defense from Deoxys down. And they come back in with the Cresselia. I just have to get to this Hydro Cannon to get their last shield. And then I know my Mew has a move stored already, so I swap into my Mew immediately. I go for this Overheat, or it could be the Wild Charge. They have no shields, and this should KO my opponent Cresselia. And that is a good game to my opponent. Also, I'm trying to block my opponent's name in these battles, so that other people are not writing their teams down on a spreadsheet, so they know how to play against these people. So here against the A-Ninetales, I go for Overheat right away. I just want to grab a shield or one-hit KO. My opponent doesn't know we're running Overheat, so one-hit KOs, and now I'm going to instantly swap out because we want to clear the debuff. Also, now we're drawing out defense from Deoxys, and this is looking okay here. They do have a Mew in the back, which could sweep my team potentially. So I still have to be very careful here. My opponent got a counter there and then threw energy here, which is very interesting. Let's see if we can get to one more Body Slam. This is very important because now we can chip down this Deoxys into farm down range for our Mew, which should be pretty comfortable farm down here. I do have to shield once, I believe, in order to farm down completely. Oh, I don't shield. Alright, I save a move. Okay, I save a Wild Charge, and now I go into my own Empoleon. And they come out with their own Mew. The great thing about Empoleon is you have a pretty good matchup against a Mew in the 2 shields, just because how much damage the waterfalls are doing. So what I'm going to do here is just throw back-to-back Hydro Cannons, get rid of their shields. I'm going to match their shields, and hopefully I can waterfall down this Mew. And then I do have a move stored in the back on my Mew against their Defense from Deoxys. Actually, I go for the full farm down. And then I'm just going to go for a Hydro Cannon against their Defense from Deoxys. I know that I have a move stored on our own Mew, but actually one waterfall takes out the Defense from Deoxys. So good game to my opponent. Here we're against the Clefable. Against old Charmers, I like to do the same play. I just go for straight Overheat because I know I can always clear my debuff, right? I go for this Overheat, and then I'm going to swap into my Vigroth right away to draw out a fighter if they have one. It's very possible they have a Defense from Deoxys again. So this is like the fourth game or the third game already that we see a Defense from Deoxys in the back, and we're able to successfully draw out this fighter with our Vigroth. So that is very good for us. And if we get to 3 body slams here, that would be really, really great for us. We actually grab a shield from my opponent because they know that we're going to get to another body slam, and they don't want to throw energy. They want to farm me all the way down, which is what they're doing here. They farm me all the way down with their Defense from Deoxys, but my Mew is not in range of anything here. So I'm just going to farm down this Deoxys, and actually I think I no shield. Okay, I'm going to shield, which is fine. Their Pokemon is really low in the back. I'm going to no shield the next one. They're loaded with energy, so I just shield the first one. It's a Psycho Boost. It doesn't do too much damage. They come out with the Clefable. I farm down, and then I just farm down this Deoxys as well. And then my opponent just surrenders. So he might have a Medicham in the back, and then he recognizes that a Mew will sweep the end game. Here we actually land a really good lead here, so I want to maintain the switch advantage. We're against Deoxys. It's very bad for my team in the back, but my opponents stay in. That tells me whatever they have in the back could be weak to a Mew, right? So what I'm going to do is the same thing as I did before. I'm going to overfarm. I'm going to throw this Overheat, and then I'm actually going to swap out just to see what they could have in the back that's also weak to my Mew, right? Also catching this move. On our Deoxys, it's actually a Psycho Boost. So we do draw out another fighter that they have in the back. It's Vigroth. This is actually really dangerous because we see this Vigroth, and that tells me they could have another fighter in the back. It's a very common team that people like to run, a triple counter team. If they have another counter user in the back, that would be really, really bad for me, for my Empoleon, right? I know they have Body Slam here, so I think I actually come into my Empoleon just to soak up that Body Slam. Because I know Body Slam is resisted, and I don't want to have to shield my Mew. So I should go for a full farm down here against their Vigroth, even though it's super effective against me. And then they have a Scrafty in the back. I just want to chip it down, put it into a Wild Charge range with the Drill Pack, and now I'm going to swap into my Mew. I know they want to make a sack swap. That's their only win condition. That's why you guys are going to see me be very careful with my energy throwing here. I'm not going to throw. I'm built up 100. I still didn't throw my energy because I know that my opponent's only win condition was sack swapping into their low health Defense from Deoxys. So we just farmed over 100, and we kept farming until we saw that swap happening, and then we were able to throw back-to-back Wild Charge to take out that Scrafty. Against Sableye, very bad lead. I just swap into Vigroth just to bait out Psychic Fighter, like a Defense from Deoxys, which is very likely in the back whenever you see a Sableye lead, right? I just take the first one, and then I'm going to go for a bait, a Body Slam, but my opponent actually swapped into Vigroth, which is fine. I'm just going to keep throwing these Body Slams, hoping to grab a shield, but my opponent got an extra counter there. Which is bad. I think it puts me into just completely farm range, which is unfortunate. They're at very low health, so I come back in with my Mew. I'm going to get a little bit of extra energy here against their Vigroth, and let's see what they come back in with. Could be a Sableye. They actually don't come back in with Sableye. They actually come back in with the Whiscash. So that is very, very, very interesting here. I don't think I can win this game now because Whiscash is just very good against my whole team. My Vigroth is kind of like the only soft answer to a Whiscash. My opponent swaps into Sableye. I think now I just have to farm the Sableye down, and hopefully I can get to 2 Hydro Cannons. And frankly, I don't think 2 Hydro Cannons will be enough to KO my opponent here. I also have to shield all these foul plays, because the foul plays plus the mush shots and the shadow claws will just almost KO me. But I think they also have a mud bump loaded, so the mud bump should almost take me out here. They go for the mud bump, and I'm 1 waterfall away from double Hydro Cannon. Even if I got to double Hydro Cannon, I don't think it'll be enough to KO my opponent. So Whiscash is definitely very tough. My Mew doesn't have a charge move that hits super effective against it or even neutral against it, so it's definitely a tough Pokemon for me to handle. Against Bastiodon, I do have 2 Pokemon in the back that can handle a Bastiodon, so I just go into my Vigroth, and then we draw out the Deoxys. This might be very difficult as well, because whenever I see this, I think they might have a Medicham in the back. It could be a double Psychic Fighter team. And if that's the case, we kind of got just got hard countered. And also, I think I played the lead matchup a little bit wrong. I don't think I should swap out right away. I think what I should do with my Mew is actually go up to an overheat, throw the overheat, and then swap out. Because now we could actually threaten. I could actually threaten the Bastiodon, right? But let's see. So they go for a Thunderbolt here. I know I can tank it, and I just farm down this Deoxys all the way down. They come back in with the Bastiodon. I overfarm just to bait my opponent, to make my opponent think that we may have a Focus Blast, and my opponent shields. So that's great for us. We got a shield with the Wild Charge, and now I'm gonna go for the bigger hitting move, which is Overheat. It does a lot of damage, but let's see what my opponent has in the back. I have to shield this Empoleon, because Flamethrower will actually do a decent amount of damage. And then it turned out they had an Altaria in the back. And now I regret throwing energy with my Mew, because my Mew's energy is better used if it's against this Altaria. Unfortunately, now I'm put in a really tough situation. I think I could have won this game if I didn't throw all my energy on my Mew. If I saved the Wild Charge here, I could actually get my switch timer back up, like right here. And then I can store a Hydro Cannon with my Empoleon to finish off the Bastiodon in the back. There's a chance, but yeah, if I had a Wild Charge here, all I have to do is throw it. But as you guys are going to see, that's actually really close, that we couldn't get to the Wild Charge here. So my Empoleon, I know that I couldn't take out this Altaria and the Bastiodon in the back, right? So I just let that go. Here we're against a Mew, but this Mew has a Volt Switch, which is really interesting. I'm going to overfarm. Obviously, I have to shield whatever my opponent throws here. It's actually an Overheat as well. So my opponent was running the same moveset. They come back in with the Scrafty. Scrafty is not bad against my whole team. Really good against my whole team, actually. So what I'm going to do is chip down the Scrafty with my Wild Charges, and then go into my Vigroth here. And I don't think I can farm this all the way down. Just because they got extra energy and they got a foul play off. So now my Vigroth is really low. I'm going to try to CMP tie. I know that I couldn't farm this Scrafty down, so I just throw my energy here. It will actually be very close. Maybe I could have, but I feel like I was going to die to 1 counter. So here they come back in with the Mew. We survive 1 Volt Switch, which means that we could get this Body Slam off, which is really good for us. And they're only at 2 Volt Switches, so I think I can actually just farm down this Mew with my own Mew with 2 Shadow Claws. Yep, that's what we do here. Perfect. And then they have a Sunny Castform in the back. I'm going to go for this Wild Charge. If they no shield it, I can just come back in with my Empoleon, but they do shield. And now all I have to do is get to an Hydro Cannon to finish off my opponent here. A little bit shaky footage here, because I think I was like just tapping with my nose at this point. Alright, next game we have Mew against Magneton. Magneton is the destroyer of my team, basically. I don't have Surf on my Mew, so he outpaces me and he one-shots me. He outpaces me by a lot. I should actually go for a Wild Charge here, because they're gonna shield 100%. They do shield, And I'm not even going to get to my next move. This is Shadow Magneton. You guys are going to see it almost takes me out with one move. That's just insane. I don't get to my Wild Charge here because I think they snuck in a move earlier when I was throwing my Overheat. So that one extra move really just changed the outcome of that lead matchup. I think it was going to be really tough regardless. And they have a Deoxys in the back. So now this is pretty much game over, because Deoxys is just going to sweep my entire team. Yeah, I don't think there's much we can do here. Even if I came in with my Vigroth, and then they still have perfect answers for my team, right? So their lead beats my lead. They have Deoxys that hard counters my Vigroth. Actually, Jellicent hard counter my Vigroth as well. I just let my opponent take me out here because I know there's no chance. Also, Empoleon gets hard countered by DD and the Jellicent, basically. So here we're against Altaria. This is not a bad matchup because Mew can dictate shield advantage. Pretty much because I get to the double Wild Charge, comfortably tanking this Sky attack if you have decent IV on your Mew. So here I go for this Wild Charge, and I should get double Wild Charge off here. I force a shield from my opponent, or we win the lead matchup, both of which are okay with me. So I go for this Wild Charge, and then I just let this go. I'm gonna farm all the way down with my Empoleon. I know that he might get to 2 Sky attacks, so I will have to shield once, but I'm not gonna shield the first one. I'm gonna let the first one go. We do resist it, but as you guys are gonna see, it still does a ton of damage. And then I'm gonna try my best to just farm all the way down before they get to the next move, but they barely do get to the next move. I'm gonna have to shield this one. We do have tons of energy loaded, almost 2 Hydro Cannons. They come back in with the Jellicent, which again is sort of like a core breaker for my team. It's just really good against my entire team besides my Mew. So I go for a Drill Peck here. I'm hoping that my opponent throws some energy before I swap out. So they do throw energy here. It's a Bubble Beam. If I was counting correctly, right? So now I go into my Vigroth here, and then they had an Empoleon of their own, which is really awesome, but I had a perfect answer there, so it's game over. Next game, we land a good lead against a Medicham, so I definitely want to maintain switch advantage because I have 2 Pokemon in the back that are weak to it. They go into a Lickitung. This Pokemon is so tanky, as you guys are going to see. I'm going to land an Overheat right here. There's just no way for my opponent to shield, right? Lickitung is one of the tankiest Pokemon in Great League. I land this Overheat, it does half, which is kind of disappointing. But I do have Vigroth in the back, which has access to counter. So now I'm just going to try to farm all the way down. I should be able to tank 2 Body Slams, but my opponent might not even get to double Body Slams. So my opponent just died with the Body Slam right there, which is very close. That means I could chunk down this Medicham really hard with my Vigroth. The CP is 1499 on their Medicham, so it's very scary that they might have a really high ranked Medicham because it's tanking my 3 Body Slams like no problem. I don't think my Medicham could do that, so very scary. But he's forced to throw energy here because the extra counters will definitely KO my opponent there. I'm gonna go into my Mew here and then farm down. I think I do farm down, and let's see what's in the back. It's a Bastiodon, so it's a very classic team of Medi Bastiodon, and there's nothing my opponent can do at this point. Empoleon is a hard wall against Bastiodon, and we easily take that game. Next game, Jellicent. We have to stay in this matchup. My opponent actually swaps out right into Wigglytuff. I do have a perfect answer in Empoleon. What I'm going to do is farm up when they get to a move, and I'm going to throw my energy, which is right here, and 9 Waterfall for me, because they did an extra charm at the beginning, so he's at 10 charms, which means they should be at a move. So I throw my energy there to take out the Wigglytuff. Let's see if they come back in with Jellicent. They do come back in with Jellicent. I just have to chip down as much as I can with my Empoleon, hoping that my Vigroth can handle whatever they have in the back, right? I'm gonna overfarm. I'm hoping for a CMP tie of some sort, but we didn't get it. So I'm just going to try to chip down as much as I can. Actually swap out here. Wow, this is very aggressive. I saved my Empoleon. I know they are going to get to 2 Shadow Ball, but I felt like the worst thing there could be getting farmed down. So I just decided to swap out there. And it turned out they had a Registeel in the back. So that was actually a really awesome swap, in my opinion. Just so that their Jellicent didn't get like tons of farm. I go for the Wild Charge bait. My opponent shields. If my opponent doesn't shield, I'm going to go for double Wild Charge. But because my opponent shielded, I'm going to go for this Overheat. It was actually a CMP tie, so it's really awesome. But I don't think this is... My opponent undercharges this. But my switch timer is back up, so I just go into my Vigroth. And this should be game over. So good game to my opponent. That was actually very dangerous. Alright, against the Charmer, they're actually swapping to their own Mew. They didn't stay in, low enough for us to go for a Overheat. So here I'm gonna throw a move to get a shield from their opponent's Mew, and then swapping to my Vigroth. I'm just gonna throw my energy here to just get the damage down here. And now he's pretty much in farm down range with a counter. I do have to shield one of their moves because they got up to 2 Wild Charge. So they're gonna throw 2 Wild Charges here. I'm gonna shield the second one and then just counter down to ensure that I still have switch advantage. I can dictate where I want my Mew see against their team. So they come back in with a Clefable. I could actually get to 2 Body Slams here, which is really great. This is just how spammy a Vigroth is. We barely get to this Body Slam before the second Charm damage registers here. And he gets taken out, and a perfect answer here in Empoleon. And he had a Crawdaunt in the back. Or Crawdaunt? Crawdaunt in the back. I know that this game is pretty much over now because we do have that extra shield. That Drill Peck does a ton of damage. Crawdaunt is actually really dangerous for me. Because it actually beats my Empoleon in the 0 shields because it tanks the Drill Peck, right? I just let it go. I want to save a shield for my Mew. I just have to get off a Overheat in order to finish off this Clefable in the back, which I'm able to, and I still have a shield remaining. And I don't think my opponent was at a move yet, so we're comfortably taking this win as well. That just showcased the power of Vigroth, I think. Alright, here we're against a Politoed. This matchup is okay, but I don't have any bait moves. All I have to do is go for straight Wild Charges. But you do have to tank a couple Weather Balls. I think my opponent tries to go for a Sack Swap. They don't, but I'm going to no-shield this. And now I think my opponent will swap out here. They actually go into a Mandibuzz. I'm going to chip down with my Wild Charge. My opponent doesn't... I don't have a perfect answer, so I do need to chip it down. And then I go into my Vigroth. I'm going to tank whatever they throw. Vigroth has a little bit of bulk to it. It tanks 2 foul plays, no problem. I actually time so that I throw when they just get to the next foul play. So this could be a CMP tie. My opponent doesn't shield, and we still have a good amount of health on our Vigroth. And let's see what they come back in with. They come back in with the Politoed. I'm just going to chip it down as much as I can with my Body Slams, right? I actually know this Weather Ball doesn't take me out. And the Must Shots farm down is going to be really, really hard for my opponent. So I get off another Body Slam here. They actually had a Charm Ninetales in the back. And I have Empoleon. So what I'm going to do is just farm down with my Empoleon here. And there is not much my opponent can do because I'm actually going to shield this. And I'm going to farm up to 2 moves here. 2 Drill Pecks. I'm 1 away. All I have to do is throw 1 here. And then I'm actually going to make a safer play of swapping to my Mew. Save this Drill Peck. Go into my Mew. Get off this Wild Charge to ensure that I get the last shield. And now I just save my shield for my Empoleon, and I could actually just go for the Hydro Cannon. They're at 0 health. I'm gonna no charge exactly none of the bubbles, and we take out this Politoed. We still have the shield remaining, so good game. to my opponent. Here we have Deoxys, very good lead. Again, I want to maintain switch advantage. Again, they had the Lickitung in the back, absolutely insane Pokemon, really. That Pokemon just is so bulky, and it doesn't take much damage at all, and it's very spammy as well. So I'm already at 1/3 of my health on my Mew, so now I swap into my Vigroth. I want to counter this all the way down. Last time we were able to counter this all the way down before they got to 2 body slams, but I think this time they snuck in some licks when they're against my Mew, so that they got to 2 body slams, which makes me really low here on my Vigroth. Fortunately, the licks don't do anything to our Vigroth, and we should do fine against Defense Deoxys Deoxys here, because we're going to get off 3 body slams back to back to back. I do one more counter before I throw here, and now I should ensure that I get one more after this, which I do. I might look to swap out of here, just because I don't want to get farmed down here. Actually, I just let it go down, and then I try to farm down with my Mew. I still don't know what they have in the back. It could be a Medicham, in which case it's very tough for me. I should have Bastidon in the back, and then again I have perfect answer in my Empoleon, and then my opponent surrenders because he recognizes the Bastidon can't do anything against my Empoleon, right? So against Sableye, again I safe swap into my Vigroth. We're against a Whiscash. This is actually perfect for me, unless I go for Blizzard, but I'm not gonna shield. I'm just gonna keep going for Body Slam. They swapped out really late. I have a lot of energy here. This is a really bad situation for my opponent here. I farm a ton of energy. I'm not gonna shield. I already got a shield. Also, I got this Whiscash low, so I'm gonna let this go. It was actually just a Mud Bomb. Again, I'm gonna let this one go as well. It could just be another Mud Bomb. It is just another Mud Bomb. It doesn't KO me. I should get to the next Body Slam as well, so that we can take out this Whiscash where we get a second shield. So we do take it out, which is really great for me. I might look to swap out here because I know my team, I can't get farmed down by the Sableye, right? I have to swap out. But because they came out with Vigroth, I was totally fine with it. So I came in with my Mew. I'm going to charge up. I don't want my Empoleon to match up against this Vigroth, right? I was going to swap out if they came out with Sableye. But this is totally fine. I have 2 shields. All I have to do is shield once here. And I need to get off 2 moves against their Sableye. I think I make a misplay here. I get way too greedy, and I try to land an Overheat, which is what I do here. And that is really, really bad play by me, because now I have to give up the shield. But I think we're still in a good situation, because Empoleon does outpace the Vigroth to the Bodos. Also, I got 1 extra Hydro Cannon lead against their by farming down the Sableye. We got a little bit of lag. Fortunately, we're able to hit this Hydro Cannon to finish off this Vigroth. So I make a misplay there, but it could be a lot easier. Alright, this game we're against Meganium. Not a great lead, but fortunately my opponent swapped into Froslass. This is really good for me. That means I'm going to overfarm quite a bit of energy here. I think I'm going to farm up 5 more Shadow Claws. I know I lose CMP, so I'm going to throw... Oh, I actually throw right away because I lost track of those Powder Snows that he started getting in at the very beginning. My opponent doesn't shield, which is good news for me. They might come back in with the Meganium. They do come back in with Meganium. What I'm going to do is go for this Overheat. It will do a ton of damage. So my opponent shields. He probably thought he shielded a Flame Charge, but I really wanted to land the Overheat, but this is fine. They go for a Frenzy Plant, and then they have a A-Ninetales in the back. But you know, I recognize that the switch time is now locked in because they swapped into this Ninetales. What I can do is let this go, come out with my Empoleon right away, and then just farm this Ninetales all the way down. Ninetales, we absolutely wall this Ninetales. I'm going to farm all the way down, and no shield anything. Coming out with almost a move and some Hydro Cannons. Well, we got 6 Waterfalls through, so all I need to do is get to 2 Drill Pecks and land one of them on the Meganium. They only have 1 shield. They have to shield the first one. Actually, we'll swap out. Just hoping to land an overheat. I know that I win CMP against their Meganium anyways, so I store the drill pack. I go into my Mew, and then my opponent has to throw all their energy here, and now I just have to land a drill pack against this Meganium, and this should be game over. Good game to my opponent. It was a pretty close game. Came down pretty close. All right. Next up, we have Mew against Whimscott. Whimscott is really tough. Basically, it resists the fast moves from the two Pokemon we have in the back. This is really tough. So I try to go for an overheat. My opponent shields. Very smart play. I go into my Vigroth. My opponent stored up a move, and then they came in with a really hard counter against my Vigroth. Kind of a hard counter, but this is very tough now. I'm gonna go for another Bulldoze. There's probably an Ice Beam because they swapped into this Jellicent, and I think I may make a misplay here. I think I should have gone for Switch Advantage because my opponent doesn't shield this Bulldoze. I still have 2 shields. What I can easily do is just fight for Switch Advantage. But I don't fight for Switch Advantage, and I think it definitely comes back to haunt me here. I'm gonna farm down this Jellicent, but again, I am not in a great situation here. I have to shield this one if I want to preserve my Mew. Now I'm worried that if they have a fighter in the back, so I swap into my Empoleon, and they do have a Medicham in the back. So if only I just fought for Switch Advantage, this game would be completely different. But it's also very interesting that my opponent didn't bring out the Medicham against my Vigroth, right? With such energy lead, I think it's probably safer to go into the Medicham, and then we would have some play here. But very unfortunate game, very unfortunate game. Here we're gonna have to shield their Ice Punch because they farm me a ton of energy, and now we don't have enough firepower to throw 2 moves against the Whimsicott, and 1 Charm takes me out. Well played by my opponent. Here at Knockout, this is okay. I think we get to the Wild Charge just before they get to the Sky Attack. So they need 1 more to get to the Sky Attack. I'm going to swap out right before they get to it into my Vigroth. And then they get a fast move, and then they throw the energy immediately, which is interesting there. And we baited out the Medicham just like we wanted. So it all depends on what they have in the back, right? If they have another fighter in the back, then we don't have an answer anyways. But okay, so we get farmed down. Now I'm gonna come back in with my Mew. I'm gonna try to farm as much as possible. I probably have to tank a couple moves here. Could be an Ice Punch. I might have to tank 2 Ice Punch really. But I'm committed to save my there is an argument to made that I should shield there, but I'm gonna farm up to 2 Wild Charge, and I'm gonna throw 1 of them, save another Wild Charge for an end game. That's what I'm looking to do. So I swap into my Empoleon, and the back Pokemon in the back is a Seaking. Does learn Icy Wind and Drill Run. If I shield an Icy Wind, it would be really bad. They do go for an Icy Wind, which is honestly, in my opinion, a really not great play because I think they outpace me anyways. And by going for Icy Wind, they risk me not shielding the first one, and then they just end up losing that game, right? So I think the correct play for them is to go straight Drill Run, but this is okay because they actually did get a shield from me. It's too risky for me not to shield. I know that my Mew has a move in the back. All I have to do is wait out Switch Timer. I tried to go for the Wild Charge, but the game decides that the Poison Jab came early there, and it one-shot me. I waited for the damage to register before I swap out there because I knew that I wanted to land a move with my Mew, right? So as you guys are gonna see here, I'm gonna try to slow down here. So I wait here. I know that they just finished attacking with that Sludge, a Poison Jab. So here I want to swap out into my Mew, and it turned out the damage just registers there, and we get taken out. Really, really terrible. So that ended up costing me the game because if I was able to get off this Wild Charge, I think my my Empoleon could definitely finish off that game there. So it was very, very unfortunate. And that was the end of the battles. Very, very unlucky. If we got up with all charge, that game would be different. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed these battles. It's a typical ABB line that I enjoy running. Just to bait out something that beats your back line, and then your other back line can finish off the game in the end game. So make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more videos in the future. Let me know what you think of this team in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in my next video.